Hello and welcome back to another episode of our Decades Legacy Challenge. We are here with our main family, the Montez family, and as you can see, Siobhan is feeling super happy. She is really enjoying the fact that they have the house to themselves. As we know, Joe and Christina have moved out with their little one and gotten their own place, and now it is just our family here in the main household. It is 2015, it is Halloween, and so they're going to probably go ahead and try to celebrate this holiday together. She's just spending a little bit of time with Mateo. They're having a little bit of a conversation. And Mateo is telling her about the fact that, he does miss his Uncle Joe being in the house. He misses the fact that they have an animal around. And he's wondering if it's possible that they could maybe get themselves an animal for the house because he really misses having an animal here at the house to love on. And she's like, we can maybe, consider doing that. We'll discuss it. I'll discuss it with your dad and we'll see if that's something that we can potentially do. And he's like, I really, really want maybe a dog. And she's like, okay, we'll think about it. So they're having this conversation and he's like, I promise I'll take care of it. As you can see, Dean is in here. He is just playing with little Edward. They're having a fun little time in here playing together. But once they're done playing, I am going to need to get Dean to do a little bit of his work assignment. He does have to grade some homework, so we will get him busy doing that. He needs to do that for his work task, so he's going to need to grade some of his homework papers for his work assignment because, as we know, he is a teacher, and so he does have to do that. So we'll get him working on those things. And Siobhan is a cook, and so she needs to practice some cooking. So I'm just going to get her into the kitchen and she's going to make a little bit of things to cook with. And I'm going to have Mateo go ahead and do a little bit of journaling. So he's just going to journal about the fact that he's really, really excited that there's the potential that he's going to be able to get himself a puppy. And he's really, really excited about that. Like, he thinks to himself, I am getting older and I'm, able to have a little bit of responsibility. And I think that I can take care of a puppy. And if mom and dad will get me a puppy, then I know that I'll be able to take care of it and I'll show them that I can be responsible. So Mateo is really, really excited, thinking that he's going to be able to get this puppy, and he's really hoping that Siobhan is going to go ahead and decide to do that. So as Siobhan is in here cooking, she is just having a little bit of a conversation with Dean while he grades his homework, and she's just telling him, I talked to Mateo. Mateo's really missing the fact that the cat's not here in the house anymore. He doesn't necessarily want a cat, he's wanting a puppy. And Dean's like, oh, really? And Mateo's, writing in his journal. He's trying to pretend like he can't hear this conversation that they're having. And Dean's like, well, what do you think about that, Siobhan? And Siobhan's like, I had a puppy growing up, and I think that having a puppy is, really nice. Obviously, the puppy now lives with Charles and their family. It went with Rebecca. But she's like, I think it's a good thing to have a puppy with children and to have that bond, and it does teach responsibility. She said, I think it will be good for Mateo if we were to get a puppy. And Dean's like, okay. And she's like, okay, you're okay with that? And he's like, I think that if that's something that you agree to and you think that's something that would be good for Mateo, I think we can do that. So I'm just gonna have Edward come up here and babble to his little toy here, and that way he can get a little bit of his communication skill up. And Mateo is going ahead and filling up the food bowls in preparation of Siobhan calling and getting the adoption agency to come with a puppy for them to look at that they can hopefully adopt. And Mateo is feeling really, really excited because he's like, yes, it's right around the corner. I'm going to be able to have a puppy in the house. And he's really, really excited about that, and we love that for him. So we are going to be having a new addition to our family really soon, and we're going to adopt a puppy in the house and let Mateo have his wish of taking care of a dog. So Siobhan's just calling, and she's going to go ahead and have us come and adopt in a puppy here. I'm just going to randomly select one of these puppies, and we will go ahead and have them come and bring the puppy to the house. And Mateo will then do the introduction to the puppy and get to know the puppy, because I want Mateo to be the one that gets to know the puppy. I want Mateo to be the one that bonds with the puppy and makes the ultimate decision on if we adopt this puppy or not. So Mateo's going to be the one that comes over and introduces himself to the puppy and gets to know the dog and does all of those things that needs to be done for the puppy. So he's going to just play with the puppy a little bit and have a little bit of a conversation and getting to know the puppy. And once he feels like they are getting on pretty well, then we'll see about going ahead and adopting the puppy. So I do think that Siobhan is going to come over and kind of interject a little bit in this situation, and she's just going to ask him, how are you getting on with this puppy? Is this puppy someone that you think is going to fit in with the family? And he's going to say, I really, really like this puppy. I think it's super cute. And I think that, it's going to be a great addition to the household. And I already love it so much. And she's like, well, don't get super attached before you have already decided if this is the puppy that we're going to keep. And he's like, I have already decided this is the puppy we're going to keep. I absolutely love this puppy. And she's like, okay, Mateo, if that's what you want. So she's going to go ahead and introduce herself to the adoption lady and just let the adoption lady know that it is looking like Mateo is going to want to adopt this puppy. And Mateo is just going to offer his friendship here to this puppy here. And then we will go ahead and schedule him to adopt this dog. And it says, do you want to adopt? Yes, we do. And so we are going to go ahead and adopt this little puppy here. And we have officially adopted this little one. Super cute. I love that. So now that we have adopted Gacy, we are just going to have her be a part of the family. We're going to make sure that we tell her to go out and use the potty. So he's going to tell her, go on outside, use the potty, Gacy, and make sure that you are, working on, he's, going to work on the potty training, because he doesn't want Gacy going to the potty inside. He wants to make sure that Gacy's getting potty trained. He is, trying to be really responsible. And so Siobhan's obviously watching his interactions with this puppy and making sure that, he's doing everything that he's supposed to be doing when it comes to taking care of this puppy. So we absolutely love that he is staying on top of it already, and he is making sure that the puppy's fed, making sure the puppy goes out to use the washroom, and we love all of those things. I think that it's going to be a great friendship that he has with this puppy, and they are going to get along really, really well. So we are just going to go ahead and let everyone take care of their needs here, and that way everyone is, of course, mom has to come out and clean up after dog, but that is sometimes the way it goes. I'm just going to have Siobhan go ahead and grab herself a bite to eat here, take care of some of her needs. And then we are going to, wrap things up here as far as how things are needing to go. It is, about 4 o'clock in the evening here. And so we want them to kind of start wrapping things up and making sure everyone's good to go. They don't have work, I don't think, but it is Halloween. They do want to get into their costumes and do a little bit of trick-or-treating, or at the very least hand out candy to some of the trick-or-treaters that may come by to their house. So they do want to go ahead and, be a part of this festive holidays. And so I am going to have them get into their costumes at some point, and that way they can meet that milestone of this holiday. But I just want to make sure everyone gets their needs met, in the sense of if they're hungry, they can go ahead and grab a bite to eat and things of that nature. So I'm going to have Edward come down and grab a serving of these pancakes here, which is going to hopefully help his hunger. We know he's a picky eater, and, it would seem that the only thing he wanted to eat for a while there was those chicken sliders. I don't think we still have those in the fridge. I think they kind of went off, and the family had cleaned up after, those. So no one has made any more chicken sliders, so he's going to have to eat the pancakes. So let's hope that that works out for him. Siobhan's just doing a little bit of domestic things here in the house and making sure things are tidy and clean. And then we'll go ahead and get everyone in their costumes a little bit later when it's time to hand out the candy and things like that when people start coming around the house. So that's going to be really exciting to see everyone kind of go ahead and do that. We are having Dean, who's feeling a little bit energized, so I may send him out for a little bit of a jog. He's feeling like he wants to be a little bit, physical and get a little bit of fitness in. So I may send our adults out to go jogging for a little bit just to get their fitness in. And I'm going to go ahead and let Mateo get into his costume for the evening. So he is super excited about being able to dress up. He loves this holiday, and he is like, maybe, I'll help, hand out the candy. That'll be really exciting. Maybe, one day I'll be able to, actually go out and even get some candy. And, today we're not going and we're not knocking on doors and getting candy, but we are going to be handing out the candy. So that's really, really exciting. It's just that, Edward is a little young right now for them to go out and knock on door to door. So we're just going to have them hand out candy here at the house. And Mateo seems to be okay with that. So for now, I'm just going to have him go ahead and go on in here. We're going to have him make some holiday crafts, and he can do some spooky crafts and work on that. And that'll be really fun for him to kind of make some spooky crafts, and that will give him some fun. And also he can, decorate his room with some spooky crafts, which will be fun for him, and do some holiday things, which will be great. So we absolutely love that. And then when the parents get back home, we'll get them into their costumes as well. So Edward's just going to come up. He's going to look and see what his brother's doing, because he is like, I wonder what Mateo is doing, because he's kind of feeling all alone because the parents had gone out for a run. But they have returned, and it does look like we have a busted dryer, so I am going to just have Dean go ahead and go on in there and repair that dryer. We do have our first trick-or-treater at the door here, so I am going to go ahead and get one of them to come and do the trick-or-treating and hand out some candy to them. So that will be fantastic. I absolutely love that. So go ahead and get in your costumes so that you can start handing out the candy. All right, so Siobhan is super excited. She's decided to dress up as a maid, and she's going to go on down after she's done chatting with the children, and she'll hand out candy to the trick-or-treaters. She's building sentiments with her children, which I absolutely adore so much. And we're just going to have Edward come over here and maybe do a little bit of drawing as well. We'll have both of the children work on some of their activities. And there is another trick-or-treater at the door, so let's go ahead and have her come and give a treat to our trick-or-treater. And Dean's taking a really long time to fix this dryer. It must have been in really, really bad shape. So Dean has decided to dress up as the Grim Reaper. He is, though, a little bit worried about death. He's starting to worry about death. He's starting to worry about, the early demise of a person. And he is, really concerned about the fact that something could happen to himself or Siobhan or one of the children. And he is really understanding that life is short. That being said, he is also considering the fact that he would like more children. He absolutely loves his boys. He loves spending time with them. He never really thought he would come to this place where he would love his kids so much. If you remember, he really, really didn't want Mateo in the beginning, and he was really, really adamant that he didn't want to have a relationship with Mateo, and Mateo is an unwanted child. Over time, he has started to bond with Mateo, and they're getting much closer. Unfortunately, they do still have the unwanted child sentiment, because I don't think I can make that go away. But he obviously is really, really close with Edward, and now he's decided he wants more children. And so he is, at some point going to have a talk with Siobhan about that, because he's like, life is short, and I am enjoying the fact that I am a father, and I would really like to have another child. I would love to have a little girl. And so I would like to try for another child to see if we could possibly have a little girl. And, he's been thinking about this, and now that he's kind of worried about the end of days and things like that, he's like, life being as short as it is, like, I want to get the most out of life. And he really feels like this is something that he needs to talk to Siobhan about. And so he is going to be having a conversation with her about that, probably sometime tomorrow, and see what she thinks and see what she has to say about it, because it's something that's really weighing heavy on his heart. In the meantime, though, he is just doing a little bit of potty training with Edward, because he is an excellent father, and he really, really does spend a lot of time with the children. He spends a lot of time, dealing with them and trying to take care of them, and he's just a very hands-on kind of dad. So after he's done potty training, we're going to have him go down and do the trick-or-treating, because it looks like Siobhan has headed off to bed. And so we'll have him go and deal with the trick-or-treating. And then he needs to get himself a shower. It is getting pretty late, and so everyone will need to go ahead and wrap themselves up and kind of get themselves off to bed for the evening. once everyone's needs are kind of taken care of for the night. So we'll have him go ahead and shower. It looks like the trick-or-treater actually was like, I'm not waiting here any longer. And so they left. So he's just going to shower, and then we'll head everyone off to bed. Mateo's already in bed, and it looks like Edward is going to be heading off into bed soon. Siobhan's kind of gotten herself back up for the evening. So I'm just going to have her go ahead and take care of the things that she needs to take care of, and then I'm gonna make everyone go to bed. And oh, our dog is jumpy. Well, we love that. So Siobhan did get some pay for being off today, which we absolutely love. She's watching a little bit of television, but I'm gonna send everyone off to bed, and then we will see you in the morning after Dean is through eating here. He's just going to clean up a little bit, and then he'll go off to bed. And then in the morning, he's going to have a little bit of a conversation, or tomorrow, he's going to have a little bit of a conversation with Siobhan about some of the things that are weighing heavy on his heart. And we'll see how that turns out for them and what she has to say, because he is really, really in a position where he wants to expand their family. So everyone is heading off to bed here, and I will see you in the morning. All right, so it is the next morning. We have Siobhan up. She's just taking herself a little bit of a bath here. And Dean is also up. The boys are still in bed asleep. We are just going to have Siobhan, when she's done with her bath, get into the kitchen. She's going to make a little bit of breakfast for the family because, as we know, that needs to definitely take place. I am at some point, like I said, going to have Dean go and have a little bit of a conversation with Siobhan. We're going to have them have that conversation that desperately needs to take place. He wants her to know how he feels, and so we are just going to make sure they have that lovely conversation that needs to take place. I'm sure that she's going to be pretty shocked about the fact that he feels the way that he feels, but it is information that she does need to know. But as we know, Siobhan can't have more children because she went and secretly got herself fixed, and he doesn't know that. So she's going to have to tell him, like, I can't have children. Like, I can't give you what you want. I'm infertile now. And I don't know how he's going to take that information. I don't know how that's going to make him feel, but we are definitely going to find that information out when she tells him that she can't have more children. We're going to see how that affects him and what happens in that situation. And I am hoping that he's going to be okay, but only time's going to be able to tell with that. Edward and Dean have become really close friends, which is really, really great. I love that they have such a close relationship, and it really means a lot to me. So Siobhan has made breakfast. She's just going ahead and having herself a little bit of a serving of food here, and we absolutely love that. And then she's going to go ahead and she's going to deal with the children because it is, a Saturday. No one has school today, so everyone's home. And so she is just, tending to the children and being a mom and, tending to the house and things of that nature. So it is a good day for everyone to kind of just hang out together at the house here. We are just taking care of the house, taking care of the family, taking care of the new puppy, and just kind of spending time together here at the home. So we absolutely love that. She is just going to kind of clean up a little bit and put things away, and right now she's got some protein powder, and she's just going to go ahead and put that away in the fridge here and make sure it's stored and put where it needs to be put, because she is hoping that, she can be a little bit more healthy. And so she's purchased herself some protein powder, and she's hoping that she can, just take care of herself and be as healthy as she can be. But I am going to have her just do a little bit of cooking. I want her obviously meeting her work goals. So she's going to cook and hopefully meet that work task that she does need to cook things. And then we are going to go ahead and give Edward a bath because Edward is desperate for being cleaned. He is really, really feeling gross. And so she's going to go ahead and give Edward a little bit of a bath. As you can see, we have Dean. He's feeling really, really flirty because he is thinking to himself, I want more children. I'm going to have this conversation with Siobhan, and I'm going to, tell her how I feel, and then we're going to go and we're going to try for another child. And he's got this just like scenario in his mind of how this is going to go down. And he thinks, this is going to go great. Everything's going to go my way. And he is romanticizing this in his head. And he thinks, this is how this is going to play out. Unbeknownst to him, she's infertile and has fixed herself and cannot have children. And he has no idea, but he doesn't know that. So he's in this really flirty mood thinking that he's going to have his way and he's going to end up with another child. And, unfortunately, I think it's going to be horrible when he does find out that she can't have any more children for him because he is in desperate want of a daughter. Not that, even if they could have children, she could guarantee giving him a daughter. I mean, that's not something that you can, promise. But at the end of the day, that's what he wants. So he's going to come in here and he's going to talk to her a little bit. He's going to approach her and flirt with her a little bit and just tell her that he would like to be romantic with her and be intimate with her. He wants to try for another baby. And she's basically just going to tell him, like, I don't want to try for a kid. And he's going to say, don't you want children? And she's going to tell him that, not really. And he's going to say, well, I really want to have more children. And she's like, how can you say that? And he's like, because I do. Like, I really want to have more children. And I've been thinking about this for a while now. And she's like, I don't even know what to say to that, Dean. And he's like, I really do. I really want more children. And I want to have, a little girl with you. And I think that she would be the most beautiful thing in the world because she's going to look like you. And I just really want that. So as you can see, he's walked off because he's like, I'm going to go and deal with some things. We can have this conversation later. Obviously, we're in mixed company. You're having to take care of the kids. And she's like, okay, we'll talk about it later. So he is, not discouraged at this present moment because she hasn't told him, that she's infertile. She's just told him she's not really interested right now in trying for a baby. And so she hasn't really dropped the bad news of, like, I can't have children to him. And so he just thinks, like, she's not really in the mood right now. It's not a big deal. She's just busy. And so he's okay with that. And so he's not thinking anything, none the wiser. But when he has to find out from her that she is, infertile and she has been fixed and she did that secretly without him knowing, I think he's going to be a little bit upset with her. So Rebecca is calling. We're just going to answer the phone and give a little chat with Rebecca here. And so she's feeling really, really happy right now. As you can see, like, she loves being around her family. She is in a really good mood. He's feeling really sad right now because he is wanting to have children and she kind of turned him down a little bit. So he's feeling pretty sad about that because he was hoping that they could go ahead and try for a baby and they didn't. But he's like, I'm not going to let it get me down. I'm going to try to stay happy. I'm going to approach her again. These things are, I'm not going to be discouraged from what I want. And Siobhan's thinking to herself, you are going to be discouraged from what you want. You have no idea. And he's like, so what do you think? Is us trying for a baby something that we can do? And she's like, look, Dean, I told you that I didn't want to have any more children. And he's like, no, you didn't. And she's like, I kind of did tell you that. And he's like, you didn't tell me that. You told me that you didn't really want the children that you had at that time because we were young. And she's like, yeah. And he's like, we're not that young anymore. We're getting older. And she's like, are we though? And he's like, yeah, we are. And she's like, And he's like, I really want to have a little girl. And she's like, I've got to go clear my head a little bit. So she's going to come in. She's going to have herself a little bit of a coffee here. She's going to think about what he's saying to her. And she's thinking to herself, how am I going to break the news to him that I can't have more children? Like, she knows this news. She knows that she has been keeping this from him, and he has no idea. And she knows that she has to tell him. She's just not quite sure how she's going to tell him. But she knows she has to, especially now that he has decided that he wants to have more children. She kind of thought that he was on the same page as her and that they both were done having children and they were happy with the two that they had. And so that she felt that she was safe to go and make the decision to get herself fixed like she did in secret. because she was like, he's going to be completely happy and content with the two that we have, and I don't have to worry about it. But the problem is that is certainly not the case now. He is wanting more children. He wants to have a little girl with her, and she has done this in secret without his knowledge, and now she's got to tell him what she has done, and he is not going to be happy with her because this is something that he is really, really wanting, and she is the reasoning that he's not going to be able to get what he wants. And even though this decision should be something that they can agree on, she didn't even give him a chance because she took all of his decision-making rights away from him. They can't make this decision as a couple at this point because she took that right away from him when she made this decision by herself and snuck off and got herself fixed without even having a decision or a discussion with him. So he is going to, I think, probably be upset with her about this. She does have to go to work in an hour's time. She's just doing a little bit of laundry here before she heads off, which is fantastic. And obviously while she's at work, Dean will be with the children and he'll be taking care of them. So she's going to go ahead and get herself ready to head off to work here. She's just taking care of the animals because clearly, Mateo had forgotten to feed little Gacy. But Mateo's spending time with Edward, so she was like, it's fine. I'm not going to be, too upset about the fact that he didn't feed his dog because he's spending time with his brother, and so she didn't mind so much about that. But everyone is just spending a little bit of time together. The boys are just hanging out, and we absolutely love that. They are going to come upstairs and just play with their toys a little bit and do a little bit of skill building. We are going to do a little bit more potty training, I think, and work on that. And, a witness to a bully. Well, just stick up for your friend. So we're going to do a little bit more potty training here and try to get Edward potty trained some. It looks like they are kind of doing some silly faces with one another and just doing a little bit of talking, actually. And they opted not to do the potty training. Sometimes that happens. So they're just having a little bit of a conversation here in the bathroom. Not sure why they're in the bathroom, but that's what they are doing, is they're in the bathroom. And so he is just having a conversation with Edward. They are having a little bit of fun together. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and get Edward to go and have himself a little bit of a nap because he's feeling pretty tired. And then I'm going to have Mateo come up and do a little bit of bonding with his dad. Obviously, he still is listed as an unwanted child, so I do want to build that relationship quite a bit. They definitely have some sentiments together where they are adoring, but as you can see, he is still unwanted. So I do want to go ahead and just build on that. I want them to become closer. So we are going to have them go ahead and they will just chat a little bit and tell each other stories, and we will have them bond and get really, really close here. That is my goal. And so we're just going to have them spend some time together here. So they're just spending some time telling each other some outrageous stories, some engaging stories. He is going to share some secrets, and they are going to laugh together, and we are going to apologize for anything that they've done to each other in the past. And I think that Dean would apologize to him and just say, son, I'm really, really sorry that I was distant with you. I know you may not understand all that much, but I just feel like I owe you an apology for the way things were growing up for you. And he's like, I don't know what you mean, Dad. And he's like, it's fine that you don't understand what I'm apologizing for, but I just feel like I need to apologize to you. So they're apologizing to each other, and they're having a good time. They're playing together, and we absolutely love that. They're having some inside jokes here, which is great, and they're just really building up their relationship, and I absolutely love that. And then, obviously, we will go ahead and get them to hug here, and I love to see them bonding. I really, really do. It means so much to me because, he really struggled with Mateo in the beginning, so to see them become close means the world to me. So I'm just going to have them go ahead and get themselves ready for bed because it is starting to get a little bit late. And so we'll get them, to do their things for their needs, and then we'll head them off into bed and get them ready for sleeping for the night. He's like, one more thing. I just want to let you know I am super proud of you for everything you've been up to and everything you've been doing. And he's like, thanks so much, Dad. And he's like, you're welcome. I just want you to know how proud I am of you. They're super cute together. I absolutely love it. So we are going to go ahead and we are going to let them get a little bit of rest here. And then Siobhan should be coming home from work soon. And then after that, we will continue on with Dean trying to talk to Siobhan about, obviously, the baby situation. All right, so Siobhan is home, and she is up bright and early in the morning. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, actually, but she is feeling pretty hungry. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to have her get herself a bite to eat here, and we're going to let her eat. And then, as you can see, everybody's up. It's really, really early, but everyone's up. So everyone's just taking care of their needs here. I'm going to go ahead and get Edward to come down and get himself something to eat because he's feeling pretty hungry himself. And so we're going to let everyone grab something to eat. And then Dean is going to tell her once again that he wants to go ahead and have a baby. And Siobhan's going to have to, at this point, tell him, look, I love you. I really, really do love you. But unfortunately, I can't have a baby. I am infertile. And so this is where that part of the conversation is going to have to take place. He is going to, at this point, he's trying to woo her. So he's going to try to kiss her, and he's going to approach her basically, and he's going to tell her, like, I really want us to have another baby. Let's try for a pregnancy. Let's try for a baby. Like, how do you feel about that? So he's gonna, he's basically just trying to, woo her into the bedroom. And he's trying to kind of get an idea of how she's feeling, right? And so he's going to go and ask her if he can try for a pregnancy with her. And she is going to tell him that she doesn't want to try for a pregnancy. And so she's going to ask him, like, do you actually really want more children? And he's going to tell her, I do. I want more children. So she's going to ask him, you actually want more kids? And he's going to say, yes, I do. I want a daughter. And she's going to say, I can't have more children. I'm infertile. And I went and got myself fixed. And he's going to tell her, what do you mean you went and got yourself fixed? And she's going to say, I didn't want more kids. I love the children that we have. I do. But it was really hard at coming to terms with those pregnancies. And I finally did, yes. And I love them, I do. Don't get me wrong. But I don't want more. And because I don't want more children, I went and got myself fixed so I couldn't get a surprise pregnancy or something that was unwanted that I had to come to terms with again. And I made it where I can't have any more children. And so she's going to tell him all of this information, and he has to basically stand here and listen to his wife tell him that she made a decision without his knowledge for the two of them without a discussion, and he is going to basically be just flabbergasted. And, she has really no right to have made that decision for the two of them, and he's going to be really, really upset with her for doing so. But there's nothing he can do about it now, unless he demands that she go and reverse the procedure. So my question to you is, should he demand she go and reverse the procedure, or should he come to terms with that? But for now, he's really, really upset. He's heartbroken. And so what he's done is he is going to tell her, you have broken my heart. You've made decisions for this family without a discussion, and I can't live like that. And I think for now, what we need to do is we need to have a temporary separation. I need time to take all of this in. I need time to come to terms with this. And I can't accept this. We can still live in the same house, but we're going to live in separate beds for a while. And we need to build our relationship and our trust again. And so she and he are going to go through a temporary separation because he needs time to build trust with his wife again. And so he is going to demand a temporary separation from her. And then I think at some point we need to decide, does she remain fixed, or does he demand as a reconciliation tactic that she go and get this procedure reversed so that they can have a child? You guys let me know in the comments below what you think they should do, and should he demand she get this procedure reversed so that they can have another child in order for them to be able to reconcile their differences and get back together, or how do you think they should go moving forward? But I'm going to go ahead and leave this episode here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you are notified when new episodes go live on the channel. And I will see you guys in our next episode of our Decades Legacy Challenge, where we are going to see what happens with Dean and Siobhan in 2016, where they are temporarily separated. They are still going to be living in the same house because they are parents. They are, not trying to move out and live in separate homes, but they will be in separate areas of the home. There is going to be some tension, and obviously there's going to be, some hurt feelings and things like that. But they are going to be trying to work on their relationship and get their relationship back and build their trust again. But they are temporarily separated, and they are going to have to work really hard at building this relationship back if they're going to make it work. So until next time, I'm going to go ahead and fly for now. Bye, Ravens.